panel. Oh, here we go. Streaming live on Facebook.
Sweet. Hello, everyone.
Streaming live on Facebook. Here we go. All right, so welcome to our third panel. Oh, hang on. Oh, there he is.
Damien.
Just in the nick of time, saving me from embarrassing myself.
Hi.
William was wearing a hat for everybody, which is really nice.
Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. I don't know what the heck happened.
This is what it would look like if you weren't hosting. Okay, so I'll talk for a minute while Damien gets himself sorted. So welcome to our third panel. My name's Bill Jarod, so I'm the organizer of Armageddon. I was going to jump in and do a little bit of hosting because our host Damien was having some technical difficulties, which is why we're running about 15 minutes late. All of the actors turned up on time. Want to stress that. One, because we're a little surprised, and two, because they turned up on time.
We're going against type.
Yeah, and but we were waiting for Damien. So we will start our panel shortly. We've got, I'll get Damien to introduce the three panelists because we have three panels. We've got an extra person that has never been to New Zealand, as far as I know, before. We won't have a panel tomorrow, but Saturday, but we do have one coming on Sunday, which we'll announce probably on Saturday. So hang for that. It's an animation panel. And without further ado, I'm going to pass you Damien, and I'm going to disappear and just pay attention behind the scenes. Enjoy. Thanks, guys.
Right. Hey.
Thank you.
Yes. Armageddon, New Zealand, and those of you watching around the world, thank you for joining us here. We are in lockdown in New Zealand, but we are still bringing you virtual panels. And today it is the 100 panel. I am joined by Sachin, who of course plays Dr. Jackson, Richard Harmon, who plays John Murphy, and they threw me a curveball, and we've got Jarod Joseph joining us.
Woo!
And Jarod, I'm so sorry, I can't remember your character from the 100.
Neither can I, man. Sachin, do you know?
Nathan Miller.
Nathaniel Miller.
Nathaniel Miller.
Yeah.
Your father was head of security or something on the mothership, wasn't he?
Chris. Yeah.
See, I remember.
Right. You know,
hey, whoa.
Yeah.
Richard, Sachin, great to see you guys again.
Good to see you again. Yeah, I'm sideways.
I've noticed. And
also representing the University of Notre Dame. I got my helmet here and everything.
Excellent. What position did you play?
Wide receiver would have been it if I, ever had the body type and skill to play at Notre Dame, but I'm just an avid fan.
I was a running back in my day, but now I don't do any running, and it's mostly just back.
Hey, nor do I.
And Jarod, thank you so much for joining us. What an amazing surprise, and eventually we will get you out to our country, I'm sure.
Yeah, I would love to. Yeah, pleasure to be here, man. Sachin, thanks for letting me know this was a possibility, brother. This is a good way to spend an evening.
All right. So
I just introduced. These are my friends for the last 7 years. Met these guys on the show, and I don't go anywhere without them. So it's a pleasure to do this with you guys.
No, pleasure. Pleasure is all mine.
Pleasure.
Excellent. Excellent. So we're going to be getting some questions fed through from the social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I don't think there's any others. But in the meantime, how are you guys doing given the current interesting times we're all living in?
Who wants to take that one first?
Go ahead, Dave.
I'll just give a little bit of what I've been up to, I'm living in London right now because I had planned on coming when we finished the show. We finished the show and my flight was maybe a week and a half from that time. I was worried that I wouldn't be able to get out here. So I fast-tracked my flight, moved it up, and now I've been out here for 2 weeks, just signed up to stay here for another month. So I live in London right now, which is weird for me because I don't, chose a different country to spend this time, but yeah, I'm glad I did. I'm here to see someone, you know what I mean? So got to do it. Yeah.
I'm pretty well for the most part, as well as one can be these days, strange times, but staying indoors, playing Animal Crossing, reading, and making a lot of coffee. That's it.
Yeah, I'm doing very similar to the same thing. We finished the season. Luckily, we got to finish our season on time, which is amazing. So the show can air at the time that it was supposed to, which we are very lucky.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't get that opportunity. But yeah, man, as soon as we finish, get 2 weeks to kind of decompress from a long, amazing shoot, play a lot of video games, read a lot of books, eat, I just had a big tub of ice cream today. So, you know, I'm living my best life sitting at home. It's pretty great.
What flavor?
It was Reese and cookie dough.
That's so you.
Oh, it was magnificent.
As the kids would say, that's on brand.
I am the most on brand person you'll ever meet.
Very good.
Yeah. But that's it. Basically just chilling.
Excellent. So there's a little bit of a difference. Jarod will be experiencing what we are here in New Zealand is the lockdown, whereas
Yes.
I understand America's still in a self-isolation process. So, yeah, Jarod definitely can sympathise with what you're going through right now. We've got a 4-week lockdown in operation here in New Zealand. So, yeah, basically I haven't seen another living person except for the electrician that turned up to fix my oven yesterday. So we've got some questions coming in. We've got Kirsten Manda Richard. Kirsten Manda has a question for Richard. What has been your favourite moment on the set of 100 so far?
Oh, I mean, there would be too many to choose a specific thing. I think I'd have to go with it's the people, you know, it's not a specific moment, but it's the people that we've had for the last 7 years, whether it's been from the beginning with like Sachin and Jarod, who, you know, we all got to kind of know each other on this, or just people who've been with us the last season or, you know, 3 seasons. It's been the people. Undoubtedly, there'll be relationships I have for the rest of my life, and keeping my head tilted this way, I'm kind of losing blood to my brain. So I'm going to go back to being sideways.
Oh, dear. And I thought
I missed that
people.
guy.
It's the short form of the answer. It's undoubtedly the people.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
We got really lucky that, like, you know, imagine working 7 years with people that you end up becoming best friends with for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
A lot of times on shows, from what I've heard, I've never worked on a show for 7 years before, is that you work with them and then over time they kind of dissipate. But we have done the opposite almost. It's like, you know, we've become tighter as it's gone on, and now we're just, you know, more than family, because we've been through something that I don't think most people would ever go through in 7 years on a show like this.
I think we've all kind of come to it and admitted to each other that we plan on sticking around in each other's lives for the long haul after this, which was easier to let the show go knowing that. It made it a lot easier knowing that, like, we weren't going anywhere for each other. So that was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jarod, same thing or?
Same thing. On the flip side, tons of people that I'll never have to see again. And moving on in my life, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah. I mean,
we're on brand.
And that's the key.
Okay. Emma Mitchell has a question for Sachin. Have you managed to blink at 6 seconds yet?
I have not. This thing is going to kill me. I don't understand. I don't take these things lightly. I can't believe there's people that have done it and successfully has accomplished these things. And I just don't understand. I keep getting the exact same time, and I've tried to adjust it, and yet I feel like I keep getting the same time. So one of these days it's going to happen. I don't know if I have a different one downloaded. I don't know, but and it's going to happen. So hold your horses. Before quarantine ends, I will blink in exactly 6 seconds.
Well, you got some time.
I have some time. I was about to cut a promo there, but I decided to end it short.
Go for it.
Got a 6 second promo on that 6 second.
Do it.
You think I can't blink, huh?
Now do it in the form of Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh, do it.
Blinking and I'm thinking. And when I'm blinking, I'm thinking and I'm drinking you in. And every 6 seconds I'll be blinking on you and you'll be stopping and popping. Oh, yeah, with the Macho Man.
I was going to do mine, but then midway through yours, I was like, no, that gets it. That'll get it.
Richard, yours is quite good too. Give it to us.
You got it.
Oh, yeah, it's the Macho Man. Yeah. 6 seconds, I'll blink whenever the hell I feel it. Yeah, when I got you in sleep.
For me, it's more the eyes.
That is a great Macho
Let
Man.
it get the neck going. Yeah. What? Yeah.
Yeah, you can no longer see my neck, so I don't do Macho Man anymore.
So he's my guy.
Great beard, though. Great beard.
Oh, thank you.
I'm afraid
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Brilliant.
kink my neck up or something when I do it nowadays.
Yeah.
We'll throw it out.
Okay, so we've got a question here from Melissa Gatland. Are you guys happy with the way the last season you just filmed concluded with your characters' journeys?
Very much so. I was very, very, very happy with how you'll all end up seeing it one day. I was very happy with how the journey ended for Murphy.
I don't want to answer that. I think just specifically for myself, I just think it's like it's a very interesting season. And I didn't know at the beginning how it was going to go, and it went in a kind of different way than I thought it was going to. But I'm more excited for, I think, everybody to watch the season, just because, like a couple got to watch the first episode, and I think it's like something, it's the best first episode, I think, of a show for a season I think I've seen.
It's terrific.
It's like so good. And because I remember watching it, and then afterwards I said, I didn't know we were making that. So I think for me, I want to watch it so I can know if I can answer that question, because I didn't know we were making that. We were acting, we were doing all of our stuff, all the scenes we're supposed to do, but watching it, you're like, oh, good Lord. I'm glad I didn't know, because now I get to watch it.
Yeah, that sounds fair. In some ways, like Sachin said it, not in the same way, but it went, I did things I didn't expect to do. Some things I expected to do, I didn't do. And ultimately, I like the way it closed out. Long story short, that's how I feel.
I like that. Both good answers.
All three good answers. I enjoyed your
the closeout.
You actually gave one that people can actually be like, okay, there's an answer.
Now I'm afraid people are gonna go looking into I don't know if I've ever said I've wanted things then. People are gonna go back looking and be like, how did he say he wanted Murphy's journey to end?
Yeah.
Let him look. It'll add to the allure of the season.
But it's also what Jarod said. There's some parts of it that I was like, yes, there's elements of it that's what I wanted to do, and other elements I didn't expect.
Yeah.
Which was kind of the best of both worlds.
100%. It's a crazy season, and you guys are in for something crazy, because I think we are. Well, after watching that first episode, we are in for something special too, not knowing how it's going to.
Yeah. I'm very excited to see it all come together.
Yeah.
Excellent. So Katie Knapp wants to know, how many tissues is she going to need for season 7?
All of them.
I needed a box at least. Yeah. So, depending on how much you care, a lot.
It depends how many shirtless scenes Richard has.
Wait, what? So many jokes there. So many jokes.
Let's leave it open-ended.
God, that's fair. That's fair. I'll say spoiler alert, I had a few.
And the boy's fit, ladies and gentlemen. He's getting fit.
No, not my first couple. There was one that was the day after Thanksgiving, and I was like, Jason, no. Why today?
I remember
and I saw that scene in ADR and was like, oh God, I look chubby.
I saw
he be like that.
Great.
You can't say chubby, Richard. I'm sorry. You can't say chubby. I've seen you in real life.
He looks great.
There's a varying. I'll say there's a varying changing in body type throughout the season.
So to answer, so many tissues.
Agreed.
A lot of tissues.
A lot of different.
Stay dry out here.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of Richard with his shirt off, it probably flows into the next statement. Gabriele, and I apologize for the mispronunciation here, but Gabriele Coutinho wants to say, Richard, she loves you.
Thank you.
Now, Stacey Bruner, Sachin, what have you taken most from playing your character of Dr. Jackson?
Man, he's gone through such a bunch of different changes throughout the show, and every time he adjusts, it teaches me something new. So initially, he was like this wide-eyed, bushy-tailed guy, and I'm very similar to that in life. I'm a very excitable kind of guy, and I kind of my heart's on my sleeve, and I like to give a lot to people. The most thing I've taken from him is that there are times you have to give to yourself, because you can't always do that, because if you don't take care of yourself, first and foremost, you can't really give to anybody else properly. And he's such a giver, and he's such a caring dude. I think there are so many positives that can come with that, but at the same time, it can't be at the detriment to your own well-being, because that doesn't help at all. But he's taught me so much, because I think he's such a good guy. I think he's one of the greatest people. He'll always be like, I can feel him. You know what I mean? You've been somebody for that long, you can always kind of feel a person for the rest of your life. And I like tapping into him at certain moments, at certain times when I feel like he's necessary. So not only has he taught me things, he's taught me to keep him around, but also learn from what not to do that he's done. But God, I love that guy. I think more than anybody, I feel like he's a real living person with me, and I love him so much.
Yeah, I'm going to throw that same question to Jarod. Actually, what did you learn from your character, Nathaniel?
Honestly, not very much. I kind of, depending on how you look at it, had free reign with the character the entire time. I never really was directed one way or another to ask who the guy was. So I judged by the trajectory of the story, and I infused my own how I would be in said situation. And mostly that character has a lot of my personality just because that's the route that I took it.
Excellent. I might regret this, but Richard, what have you learned from Murphy?
Oh boy, learned a lot of what not to do, I think, for the first little while.
Yeah.
But I think by the end of it, he had a good heart, and he found a way to. I think maybe what I learned was, no matter what you do, always try to find a way back to your heart and kind of the good in you. And I think that hopefully I learned that from him. Hopefully I knew that before him, but I mean, if anything from him, that probably would be it.
Nice.
I always thought like John Murphy was Richard without good parents.
Dude, honestly, yeah, there's a bit of that.
You know what I mean?
He has the same sense of humor, very similar sense of humor that I do.
Wayward Richard.
Similar.
That might be one of the most insightful comments I've ever had in a panel.
And he's right.
Rightio, so Nick Reed, no relation. He wants to know, what did you do as a cast to commemorate the series finale?
Stayed at home because of a virus.
Yeah, we didn't have our wrap party. Sadly, it got postponed. We're not going to say canceled because we will have it one day, but it got postponed. So, I mean, we finished up the series, and it was like, go home and stay. We've been home since we wrapped.
But what was cool, everybody that was alive during the finale, whoever was there, I think everybody came in town for the finale. So if any of us, weren't on the finale, whatever the case may be, we still got to kind of see everybody that came into town because they were all around, and go have some drinks, have some dinner, which is really nice. Yeah. And a really fun thing to do. So we kind of got little snippets of a commemoration of talking about the show and enjoying it together, which is kind of cool. And I kind of have really enjoyed 2 weeks of kind of sitting in the fact that we had 7 years together, as opposed to like this big kind of send off. It's just, we finished, and now we kind of get 2 weeks to be like, man, that was 7 years. So it's been interesting for sure, but a different decompress than I think we were all expecting.
It was very different and series finale after 7 years than we would have imagined, for sure, given the circumstances of what's happening right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, Sachin drove me right to the airport, and kind of an ass backwards move if you're checking the stats at that time. He said, "Get me to Europe."
Yeah. Well, if that was the time, to go. If you were going right before everything fully popped, we weren't really fully aware of the full ramifications of what was really going on. I don't think anybody really was at the time. We were kind of hearing inklings of it. So at that time, if you got to be somewhere and you got to be with people that you need to be with, that's the time to go. And I think you chose the exact right time.
So do I, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to choose who you want to be stuck with. You made the choice.
You want to be in the fucking living room with. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. What living room do you want to be in? Go to it and get in it.
Yeah.
So Johnny Andrews wants to know, how often have you guys mixed up your words or had a spell on set? And I'm just going to add a little bit to that. Who was the worst?
With memorizing lines is what you're asking?
Yeah.
Nobody here, to be honest. Nobody here is...
no, I think we know our lines.
We're pretty... I think us three, whenever we work together, if there's a time, it's pretty like, we come in, we do it, and we go home. We're not there to long.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I will say that there have been times where. Go ahead.
No, on you.
I was just going to say there have been times where I hadn't said anything for quite some time, and then I'll get some thrown at me, and it takes a minute to work up to get the dust off me. I will say that, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm talking again. What is this? So yeah. I've been hard on myself in sometimes, but you find a way. It's kind of the job. You find a way, but you guys can probably attest to this. There's times where you just cannot retain something.
Yep.
Even if it's easy, you're just like, why is this not sticking in my brain?
Yeah. The easier stuff is generally the harder ones because it just sort of falls right up.
Yeah.
As far as who's bad, I wouldn't feel comfortable ever singling someone out in that because it's never for a lack of trying that they forget, you know?
Yeah.
And if it is, then I would throw them under the bus, but I don't truly believe that it ever was for a lack of trying.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the show in and of itself is is kind of a beast to film. You're filming all this stuff. You're saying all these things, different types.
A lot of movement, a lot of stuff you got to be doing while you're saying it.
While it's never panning on you, while you're explaining night bloods and death waves and stuff, while somebody's jumping over a cliff with a knife coming at you. So it's kind of a behemoth to shoot as it is. But people generally, so lucky with a lot of the cast that we got, kind of crushed through it.
Excellent. So the next question. Okay, so nice. So the next question is probably going to be pretty easy for Richard. Monique Goodman wants to know if you had to make a playlist for each of your characters, what would the top 3 songs be?
Well, I do. I don't know if they're aware of that. I do make a playlist for all the characters I play. I mean, Murphy's, by the end of it, after 7 years, it was 700 songs long. So there's a lot to choose from. Off the top of my head, like 3 notable ones, I'd say Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood by Nina Simone, Villain by David Ramirez, and those are the 2 that kind of stick out. There's a lot of others, but I'm going to go with those 2.
Jarod?
I listen to a lot of metal during my time playing Miller. Metal and new wave, oddly enough, like from Depeche Mode to Pantera, Rage Against the Machine. I don't know if it helped me get in that zone, but I always kind of associated that sound with the character.
There you go.
You know?
I looked up my list just so I can recall, but I always said, for some reason, Blind Melon, No Rain really got me feeling what Jackson felt like a lot of the time. The Verve Pipe Freshman, and the entire album of Hacksaw Ridge. The score of Hacksaw Ridge. If I had,
it's good to have the score in there.
Yeah, it felt
okay. Let me give you 3 songs. My bad, I misunderstood the question. Okay.
Okay.
Let's go. Bulls on Parade, Rage Against the Machine, Metallica 1, and Depeche Mode, Enjoy the Silence.
Nice.
Boom.
Very cool. Okay, so we've got a question here from Eloise Constantine, Pals. What was the saddest death for each of you? Which character's passing? And let's keep it to the first 6 seasons.
Okay.
Oh,
thank you.
Thank you. I almost said something.
What character do I miss most on the show? It's a good question. I always usually end up saying Mike Beach, just because he when he came to the set, it did so much for the show. It was just so much fun having him there, and he was so great. And I really thought I wanted to see more of Pike. I loved the Pike, that character, because he wasn't evil. He wasn't bad. He just had a completely different point of view because of the things he'd been through since he's been on the ground. So Pike to me was just, would have loved to see more of what he would have been like in the moon that we're on now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great one. I mean, Mike Beach, for the exact same reasons as you. In a similar sense for me, it was when William Miller went out, who was very, for the same reasons. Yeah, he was a bad guy on the show, but I loved what he brought every day. I loved his energy. Just enjoyed being around him. So that one for me was personal. I mean, it's hard to ask the actors because it always, the relationships there we don't really see the people as the characters. We just see them as more of a personal, friendship. point. So it's kind of who we miss hanging out with, who no longer was in Vancouver when we were
these
shooting.
talented friends that we had working every day would be so much
you're like, I wish they would continue to come back. Instead of it being actually sad about the character.
Yeah,
I always ended up growing pretty fond of people towards the end of their run on the show, which is weird. But you know, when Chelsea was gone, Harper, obviously Chris Larkin, Devin Boston,
Chris Larkin, that was a huge loss. Actually,
Monty was a huge loss. You know, it's like, that's true. Monty and Harper in general feel so like heavy. I think specifically because those guys would go down in history. If you think about it as a mythology or as like a lore, those people would become part of our history books. We would have statues up to those people for saving our lives. They would become our gods almost. In 100 years, Monty and Harper would become our people that brought us to this new world that's risked their lives to save us.
Would you guys say I also associate times in my life and in the time of the show with certain people that were there? Like there were the Devin Bostic years, which is a completely different energy. The William season, right? That was a different energy. So I kind of landmark each season with who wasn't with us anymore. So 100%. It's all been part of a cool journey, story.
I think a huge death for the show, I always say was Wells, because that's when the show changed and became. That's the reason why Wells' death, while sad, and I think I love Eli Gorey, and it was so jarring. I think was like, man, it's when the show began to pop off, and I think that's a big reason why the show lasted so long. Was that death was such a big one that kind of changed the show. So like that's I'm thankful almost for a big thing like that, because it really turned the show.
Right. So got a question here from Melissa Gaitlin. Does anyone have any tattoos relating to the 100?
Oh.
We got ours.
We got ours, but I guess it wouldn't have been there without the 100.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Sachin, Richard, and I have matching some
just
dots.
We got
100. It's for the 100. 100.
Yeah, 100.
I've been considering. I always considered getting one for Murphy because he's been such a big journey for me. I mean, obviously, I haven't gotten one. I was gonna go get one right after we wrapped. Tattoo shops are no longer open, to my understanding.
Rest in peace to the tattoo. Tattoo world.
But I'll be going right back to it. I'll get like 5 tattoos when all this is like within the first 2 weeks. I'll be like, okay.
I wanted us all to kind of get a variation of the 100, 100. What is it? Emoji? Is it called emojis? That one that everyone uses, the red 100.
Well, the red 100. Yeah.
I thought we could all get that, but
that's cool.
It could happen.
I'm definitely
gonna get a tiny little noose for Murphy with the JM carved into the middle of it.
Because while Wells was a huge death, I always said that the beat dropped on the show. Like it was like Sandstorm, it was building up until that moment. And when Murphy dropped on that noose, the beat dropped on the show, and then all these kids come around each other. So I think that was another huge moment.
I've been known to say that too.
The doctor symbol on my leg at some point. I played so many doctors, and it would just represent leading up to Jackson at some point. So,
excellent. So, Sachin and Richard, I don't know if you remember, but we played the bromance game when you guys were here in Wellington Armageddon. Mm-hmm. You remember that game?
I remember that game.
What was the rules? What was it?
So basically, I'd ask a question, and then say we would start off with Richard. We'd ask a question to Richard, and you both wrote down the answer that you believed Richard.
Oh yeah, absolutely, like the Newlyweds game. Yeah,
like the Newlyweds game. Yeah, Jarod, do you want to join in on this one?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got some pen and paper there, guys.
I do actually.
I also do.
Yeah, oddly enough, I do.
I wonder how that happened. It's like we planned it.
We actually didn't. I want the people to know.
I got a map.
So the first question is going to be we'll start with Sachin because he's on my left on my screen. Okay. What was Sachin's first car that he owned?
Oh, they're not going to know this.
No? Throw in a guess.
Wait, what?
First car.
First car.
Sure. Can I say it out loud? Do I say it out loud?
I'll write it down.
Write it down.
I don't know because it's only the.
All right, I'm done.
All right, you ready, Richard?
Yeah. One sec.
If I remember correctly,
that is a good question, but I don't think I've ever told anybody. We'll find out.
All right, yeah.
You don't really tell us much about you, bud.
I don't.
Real
We just have to find it out the hard way.
Okay, Richard and Jarod, if you could hold up your answers to the camera. And Sachin, tell us what the answer is.
It was a Plymouth Reliant.
Ooh. Okay, Richard, what have you got there?
I wrote Honda, which is what he has now. I just haven't known another car.
Honda Civic. Good guesses.
I'm holding on to my Honda Civic for dear life, so I think that's probably a safe answer.
I could just see you getting that over and over again.
Yeah, just keep repeating Civic.
Okay. Yeah. Here's one for Richard. Which cast member would you most like to be self-isolated with?
Oh, he writes down.
Yeah. You guys write down your answers.
Oh, which is easy.
Is it?
I mean,
funny.
No, I'm not being funny. I just want to know why you know so damn much. Okay.
Well, no,
all right.
He better say this.
Okay, hold up your answers, boys. And Richard?
It is, it's my girlfriend, Rhiannon.
Nice.
Yeah!
Oh! Which I kind of already am. Like, we're like 50-50 on-off self-quarantine together.
I get it now.
That or myself. Because I need a loan.
Oh, yourself would have been actually, I think, a good answer. Yourself is a great answer.
Myself, yeah, is the most like that. I know I can, I can maintain my loneliness very well.
Like I wrote Rhiannon, but I think I might be wrong. Richard's very good at doing himself. Rhiannon knows this too. This is not a shock to her.
Yeah, no, this would not be shocking to her.
Yeah.
No. Okay, let's switch to
I
Jarod.
went with the only person that he loves on the show, but screw me, right?
I said
go ahead.
I did say cast member.
Okay,
cast member. I'm speaking in New Zealand. You'll be used to the word cast from now on, wouldn't you, Jarod, over in England?
Cast,
so
man. Cast
Jarod's question. Name of food Jarod cannot be without. Oh, the silence.
Be respectful.
Are you good? All right.
I mean, yeah.
Okay, Jarod, what was your answer?
Just pasta.
Show us your answer, boys.
Pasta.
Hey,
I said groceries. He knows what it means.
He said, well, hey, give us a quick round, but the winner of the bromance newlyweds game this edition, Sachin Sahil.
Richard, that was great.
Applause.
Yeah.
2 out of 3.
Thanks.
He gets the Meatloaf Award because 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
If you didn't say pasta, I would have thrown this computer so fast.
Man,
I know what it is, boy. Yeah.
Okay. So we've got a question here from Ellie Johnson wanting to know if in season 3, did any of you get to meet Shawn Mendes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've met him.
We hung out with him a lot, actually. He's a great guy.
Yeah, we had dinner that one time. I think I only hung with him one time, which was at dinner.
Yeah. He invited us all to a concert of his, but a couple of us couldn't go because we were working. I've seen him actually 3 times in LA since. Really good guy. Love the show and good dude.
No, I didn't know he was on the show.
Neither did I. And to be fair, I don't even know who he is.
No, I always heard that he was, but I never ever saw it or him. So it's kind of this myth that Shawn Mendes was on our show.
Yeah,
you don't know the first year of his career. I don't know if it's true.
Okay. We've got one here from Akasha. Oh, gosh. Akasha Harvey. What was your favorite location to film in during the 100?
In the season 2 Mount Weather.
Because it was indoors?
Because it was indoors, yeah. And a lot of the scenes were on a bed.
I
gotta be Sanctum. It's just so impressive.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's just so impressive to be like, it's just when you're there, on the exterior set of Sanctum, it's so all encompassing. It's just is what it is. They built it like it is that place. There's no pretending.
Yeah. I'm like I love sci-fi like crazy. So to be on a ship and to run down a hallway and start yelling for people like I was in Star Trek, to me was just, I'll never get over it. So every time I'm running down the hallway of a ship going, we have to get the deflector shields, whatever I'm saying.
The ships were great too.
Oh, so awesome. It just felt really cool.
Excellent. Okay, so there is a tradition in Armageddon panels where we ask this question, and I figure why not keep the tradition going in the virtual world? This question is, if you could have a mundane superpower, what would it be? Now, when I say a mundane superpower, I do not mean something like flight or super strength or super speed, something mundane, much like my superpower, which would be to find a parking space in front of the building that I need to go to every time. We've had one where you can wake up, click your fingers and your teeth are brushed, or reach into your hand and there's always freshly popped popcorn.
Wow, that's good.
That's incredible.
This isn't really mundane. It's quite impressive, but it would be my superpower regardless of like flight or anything. It would be to just know every language on the planet would be, I think, like the coolest thing in the world. But that's not very mundane.
Not very mundane.
It's quite impressive.
Very impressive. It's a good.
But it's something that could be attained, is what I mean. Like you can't fly.
Yeah, that's true. It's attainable,
and you can attain that if you spend your entire life working at it.
Yeah.
So come back to me if that's not mundane enough.
It's a mundane superpower. This is everything I'm thinking about is pretty good. These are super. To have all of my clothes always washed. I don't know.
Okay, that'll work.
Take them off.
I'm going to steal yours until I come back with a better one. I like the idea of instant teeth being brushed.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a tedious job if I've ever seen one, huh?
Yeah, what's the thing you hate to do every day that you have to do that would just be done?
That's the one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, DJ Qualls. That was DJ Qualls' mundane superpower from memory.
Shout out to DJ Qualls.
Yeah.
Sweet. Good choice.
Credit to, indeed. Excellent. Okay, let me see if I can get back to the list here.
Richard's still very deep in thought about this.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
he will be for a while.
Coming to me.
Well, maybe you can post it up later on if it doesn't hit you before the end of the panel.
Currently, no, never mind.
All right. Okay, so what else we got here? No. Oh, pranks. Were there? Christy Keeney wants to know: were there any pranks on set? And if so, what was the funniest? If not, what are some of the best pranks you guys have experienced outside of the set as well?
I'm pointing at Richard right now. Go ahead, Richard.
Richard's the prank man.
I'm not the prank man unless called upon into action.
It's true. It's not unsolicited.
I pranked Lola pretty good. In season 6, she had during a night shoot, which is like an overnight shoot. She got to go home early because she's a child, and she saran wrapped my toilet bowl in my trailer. So at like 4 a.m, I went in to urinate, and my pee just magically was levitating over the water. A good classic prank for sure. And I would have let her have it too, but she later came out to me and said, "It's on." And I went, "You don't do that. Don't tell me that it's a war." So I then, with the help of her mom, didn't break in. I gained access to her apartment and saran wrapped her entire room, including like bedposts, like the dresser, the television, saran wrapped the whole room, and hung her stuffed animals by their necks in nooses from the ceiling.
Sorry.
Also, let's not forget he took Polaroids of them and had her search for them using Polaroids of the animals.
Yeah, well, one there was Polaroids of me with my face saran wrapped, so it looked very scary, with a butcher knife holding one of her stuffed animals with the knife in its throat. And then there was a box that I left on her bed, and that one stuffed animal was missing. and it said, "What's in the box?" And she opened the box to not find its head. It was the head of a separate teddy bear that I had bought and cut the head off myself. And then her stuffed animal was safe under the bed, and I told her where it was, and it was fine. It was returned without harm.
How old was she at the time?
13.
Oh. That's, yeah, okay. Remind me never to get into a pranking war with you at all.
Just don't tell him that you're in one. Like, you can do something.
Like, that's the thing. I'm cool with being pranked. I love it. I love being pranked. Just don't make it like a thing. Don't make it a competition.
Exactly. If you're a Troy, don't go to Agamemnon and say, "I'm stealing your wife." Just let them live.
Wow. Okay. Greek mythology reference. Loving it. Loving it.
You watched Troy the other day.
I just watched Troy, obviously.
Okay, so we all know you guys are amazing actors, and you know, well, we know Jarod and Richard are amazing actors.
That doesn't sound right.
So, and quite often, people have other talents that they're quite good at, you know, singing, writing, directing, that sort of stuff. Do any of you have a hidden talent that the rest of the world might not be quite aware of how good you are at something?
You know, oddly enough, at this point in my life, I'm lucky to be half good at acting, because I just didn't.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, this is like my job. This is like what was supposed to do in retrospect, but I wasn't qualified. I got maybe like I got knacks for things. I like clothing, I like art and stuff like that, but no, I'm pretty ill-equipped for the world without this job.
No, I'm with you there.
That's a good answer. Yeah.
I'm well with you there, because the closest thing I could even think of is I can drink like a fish, and that's not a great thing to have.
Yeah.
But that's it.
It's something. I can make
it's something, but hey, it's something.
Yeah. But other than that, like, this is, I think, it's pretty, for this group, it's all we kind of are thinking about and prepared to do and ready to do at no moment's notice that we're told to do. That's like, okay, go do this because this is what you want to do. And the rest of it is like, yeah, I guess I'll kind of play piano today. I'm not very good. I would not consider it interests, but nothing that's like, hey,
but I think
we're good at this. You know,
we all put so much, knowing all three of us, I think we all put so much into our job. It's just what it is. And it's definitely what I'm currently missing the most about whatever normalcy, you know, was.
Yeah.
If you're asking if we're secretly triple threats or something like that, speaking for myself, I don't believe myself to be, no.
Yeah.
No, nor
I can dance. I'll give you that. I can dance.
Yeah.
You can dance, yeah.
You can't blink on 6 seconds.
Why? Like, I don't know. You
put your fist down.
Sorry.
Oh. Don't hurt him.
I also, my hidden talent is not being very good at not being able to do something.
Oh, that's amazing. So, just what are the tips? Do you have any tips for fighting off the cabin fever? Now, obviously Murphy was stuck in the bunker for a while, so he's used to isolation.
He didn't do well either.
No, he didn't. But you guys seem to be doing a bit better. So what's keeping you guys sane? What's keeping you grounded? What tips can you share with everyone to help each other through this period of self-isolation and lockdown?
I think it's important more than anything for people that are having a hard time with that. I think it's important to create some sort of structure, because what's causing people, I think, a lot of anxiety naturally is the fact that they wake up every day and they don't know what they're going to do. So maybe making specific times you're going to talk to certain people, and specific times you're going to do certain things, you know, and don't feel guilty if you do or don't do them. I think structure is a great thing that can help a lot, and cut yourself some slack, because a lot of people, I think, feel a little worried about, I should be doing this, I can't be doing this, what if I'm doing this? It's like, there's a global pandemic going on right now. You're not prepared for this. Nobody is. Do whatever you feel you can do at this time and whatever you need to, and don't feel guilty, but create some sort of structure.
Yeah. I would say remove all shame from what you perceive to be a lack of productivity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's going to be times that you're going to feel like doing more or doing less, and I think there's no wrong answer. You know, just to take that guilt out, because we're all, like Sachin said, navigating this with fresh hands. All of us are. You know?
Yeah, those my two friends right there answered it as well and better than I could have. So I'm going to leave it with exactly what they said.
Okay, and we can go to the Facebook for one last question from Akasha Harvey. What advice would you give to your season 1 self?
Oh, nothing at all.
That's a good answer too.
That is
what did you say?
Oh, nothing yet, but I know what you mean by that, and that's a huge statement. I would have told myself to slow down. I think I didn't know I was going to be on this show as long as I ended up being. So I think I was always trying to seize that feeling of kind of a rival, even though in retrospect it wasn't a rival, but I was so like excited to have got to a place that I had always wanted to get to. And I was just, you capitalize on all the fun you can have, all these new relationships you can have, all the opportunities and stuff like that. I would have said, take it easy, because you're here to stay, and just breathe it in, man. I moved way too fast, too soon. And I would have taken it a lot slower.
Yeah, to piggyback off of that, I would think I would have just told myself to just do the job. I think there was so much other stuff that I thought that like, you know, you're so young, and I was so like, I did a lot of stuff before the show, but not as much as I haven't worked on a show for 7 years, you know. It gave you a lot of time to learn a lot of things, and I wish I would have taken it in a little more earlier, and just go to work and do the job. Stop thinking about, oh my God, what's my life gonna be tomorrow? What am I gonna do tomorrow? You know, because I was the whole first season. I thought we were gonna get canceled for sure. I didn't think we were gonna go longer. I thought whatever. I was still working at a restaurant for that whole first season, and I was just trying to do a million things to try to stay mentally afloat, because I need to keep moving. I would have told myself, just go to work. Enjoy it.
I feel you on that, man. Alternatively, like in the same vein, I would have kept the priority, the acting thing, rather than the extracurricular stuff. And I wanted to do it all at once. And I admittedly got a little off the tracks for what I like. And I would have always put that at the forefront and quieted out some of the noise a little better.
100%. A lot of noise those first couple of seasons.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Excellent. Well, hey, thank you. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, go for it.
No, you do your piece first, because I'm about to wrap it up.
I was saying nothing would be what I would tell them, and it's not because the way I did it was perfect by any means, because it wasn't. I would be afraid to change anything along the way that brought me to where I am now, which is a very good place, and very happy with, you know, how things were handled, and through the down times and the things that probably I should have done differently. I'm happy with how things turned out in the end. So I think that's why I would go with nothing.
Yeah. No, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you so much, gentlemen. Richard and Sachin, it was good to see you again. Jarod, it was wonderful to meet you, even if it was by
pleasure. Hopefully in person one day, sir.
Yes. Hopefully, once this has all died down, we'll definitely get you guys back to our long white cloud shores.
Awesome.
And see what happens next. But in the meantime, once again, Sachin, Richard, Jarod, thank you so much for your time. That's been a fantastic panel, guys. Be safe. Be well.
You as well.
Take care of yourself. Bye, guys.
God bless.
Bye.
And Armageddon New Zealand, that's us for today. Look follow the Facebook page. There'll be some announcements of what's coming up in the future. And in the meantime, New Zealand, be kind, be well, be safe. Bye.